So it's been a long day. I've just come back from work and we had a Diwali celebration because one of my coworkers is Indian, and when I eat too much I get lethargic, and that's exactly what happened. So I went to Starbucks and I did not get a coffee. I just went to pilfer their Wi-Fi. And in the process, I fixed a problem that I was trying to figure out. And the problem is that when I am trying to load the data for the event, because we're doing we're hosting or we're listing dance events for Dancing Nomads. And whenever I navigate to a specific event, what I'm doing there first is when I put in event 3 and I hit enter, what happens is actually I go to my backend, I fetch that data, and I put that into a Redux store. But because we are fetching the data, that there's a lag time. We have loaded our page before the data comes back. So what do we do when that happens? So I was struggling with that, and this is the problem. You could take a look. Let's take a look at the code right now. So what happens is in our constructor, I do this event show attempt, which actually goes to our backend and asks for the information back. But while it's asking for the information back, we have already gotten down here, and in this render, we're trying to render information that we don't have yet. So what do we do? So this code here, where we are rendering, or where we are getting the information from the backend in the constructor and rendering the information back right away. I mean, this will work if we have already got the data back. So you can get that data through specific ways. You could use a promise and wait to render the data by waiting for the data to come back from the backend. I didn't do it that way because it was kind of weird and I didn't really understand it that well, so I did it this way. So let me go ahead and take us back to the code by checking us out. So what I want you to do, since we're using Redux in this case, I don't know if it'll work without Redux. I think it might I think probably does, but what I did is export default connect. So that allows me to get the props, and in this case I've already gotten the props actually, so even without connect from React Redux, this will work probably. So what I did is in this render method I am rendering this render event. This render event is actually where all the work comes out. This render event actually decides whether we are showing the information or if we are just showing something else. That something else says, sorry, that event seems to be missing. So when it first loads, if the information from the backend hasn't gotten back yet, we'll just show them this message. Sorry, this event seems to be missing. And as we're waiting, when the data finally comes back, which it eventually will, then since we are using props from Redux store, then we are keeping track of the state. We are keeping track of the state of the store. So whenever something happens on the store that changes, then that is reflected in our view. So taking a look at this render event function, you can see that I'm checking for props events. And let's go back to here. So if we look at our Redux and we go to this event show, look at our states, the data, we have data and we have events. So we're looking at this props events, which is this. And we define a variable event object, which is assigned to this props event selected event. So we have events selected events. So if we're still waiting for the data to come back, that will be empty. So if it's empty, then we'll just move on to the else, because the if is false. But once it becomes full, once the data comes back and we stuff it into that Redux store, then there's something in the selected event variable, which is what we have here. So once that shows up, then we can go ahead and fill in the data, which is exactly what we did here. So we're showing the picture and we're showing all the data, and these are just helpers that I use in multiple files just so I don't repeat myself. So if I change something in one place, I don't have to change it. The change is propagated to every other file that uses that one function in this one file. So I don't have to change it multiple times in multiple files. And that's a great way, that's a great principle to follow to don't repeat yourself, to make things easier for yourself. But anyways, that's all I want to go through. If you're running into the problem where you are rendering your page before the data comes back, the data that you need to come back, this is what you can do to actually render something, and when the data comes back, you render that data. So this is a great hack to, it's not even actually a hack, it's a great way of doing things. This is a great way to actually go across that problem. But anyways, if this has helped you, then please join us on our mailing list, and please rate, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys again next time.